We're going to start with the lower body. We're going to start with the easiest muscles to start with. This one is the sartorius. This one is the gracilis. Simple. Okay, now let's go to the top. Now this is the sartorius from the other side. Can you see that? Yeah, we can see that. This is the IT band. Above the IT band, you're going to find the tensor fascia lata. Now the tensor fascia lata sort of connects up here, and there's a small. Can we see it still? Oh, it's not focused. Keeps going over it. So the tensor fascia lata meets up here with two muscles. This one is the gluteus maximus. It's the small one. And the gluteus medius is the big one. The gluteus medius, and then this one is gluteus maximus. Can you guys see it? Okay, moving on. Next to all this, we have these two big muscles. This one is the caudofemoralis. Now this one's easy to put on the test for origin, insertion, and action because it has very simple origin insertions. You can hear them right in the name. But remember, the insertion of this one is actually a trick. It inserts on the patella, not on the femur.
And what is the originate caudal?
The caudal vertebra.
Does that go through the process, or is it
just caudal vertebra? Then we have this huge one. This is the biceps femoris. Simple, right? Let's go deep. Underneath the sartorius, you're going to find the vastus medialis, which is this guy. You're also going to find this big cigar-shaped muscle that we always cut through. This is the rectus femoris. Underneath the rectus femoris, you're going to find this guy, if we can see it, right there. This guy is vastus intermedius. See if you can get that. This guy right here.
And what was the other vastus?
Vastus medialis.
Medialis, and then vastus intermedius?
And vastus intermedius. And then, of course, the vastus lateralis is on the other side, and we'll get to that in just a moment. Underneath the sartorius, you find a group of 4 muscles. And this one has actually been separated too many times, so I'm going to see if I can get this together for you. This one is the semitendinosus. The one right next to it, this one that we're going to mash together, this one is the semimembranosus. Next to the semimembranosus, you're going to find this big guy. That is adductor magnus, also known as adductor femoris. Next to adductor femoris, you're going to find this guy, which is adductor longus. Underneath all that, jammed up in there, you're going to find this guy, the pectineus, and this guy shows it really well. He's big. There you go. We doing good so far? That's all the deep muscles on that side. Let's go to the other side.
We're not going to do the iliopsoas?
The cigar-shaped one is the rectus femoris. So, this guy actually shows a really rare muscle that's really cool. This one is the tenuissimus. Almost impossible to save, but they did it. This one is the sciatic nerve. These muscles back here are the semitendinosus and semimembranosus from the other side. And here we have the caudofemoralis. And this is all under the biceps femoris. So, what about the IT band? Underneath the IT band, you see this big guy. This is vastus lateralis from the other side. All right. Vastus lateralis?
Is it thick or is it a thinner one?
It's the big guy.
All right.
The one next to it is the rectus femoris.
And then vastus medialis is like thinner sheet?
Yeah, thinner sheet-like muscle on the other side. Let's take a look at it.
There's a strap.
This guy right here is vastus medialis, and the vastus intermedius is just a little strap in the inside. Okay, that is all the deep muscles. Now we're going to go to some hard muscles, the muscles of the lower leg. So get ready, because this comes at you really quick. I break these up into 3 groups.
Oh gosh.
We start with this group up here. Pull it where? Like there? Okay, great. Great. So I break these into 3 groups. We're going to start with this group, and it contains this huge muscle right here called the gastrocnemius. Underneath the gastrocnemius on the dorsal side, you're going to find the flexor hallucis longus. Okay? But on the ventral side, underneath, you're going to find this guy in here, who is the soleus. There are actually 3 muscles in this group, and I'm going to separate them so you can see them. This is gastrocnemius, this is soleus, and this guy right here, this is flexor hallucis longus. Simple, right? 3 muscles in a group. Soleus is only visible from the ventral side. Okay, the next group are the peroneal muscles. We have the big guy. Let me see if I can get these guys together. This guy, the big one, is peroneus longus. Peroneus tertius is this tiny little guy next to him. And then if I put a pin here and separate them like this, that's meaning that I'm looking for peroneus brevis, which is on the bone. Brevis for bone, or between, or beneath.
So peroneus brevis, and what was the other 2 again?
Peroneus longus and peroneus tertius. This one's longus, the big one, and peroneus tertius is the little one, just a tendon. We got that? All right, that's that group of 3. Now I've got 4 more for you guys to know. We're going to start with the easiest one. This guy right here. Hold on, let's see. Do we have focus? This guy right here, on the front of the tibia, you're going to find tibialis anterior. Okay? Then right below tibialis anterior, you're going to find hold on. This one got me. Underneath tibialis anterior is extensor digitorum longus, this guy. All right? Then we go to the other side. That's the best way to see tibialis posterior. So tibialis posterior, let me move it around. All right, so this guy right here, all the way jammed on the back of the tibia, really hard to see sometimes. This one's got a little fascia, tisk. This guy is tibialis posterior. And next to that one, you're going to find flexor digitorum longus. So remember, extensor digitorum longus is next to tibialis anterior. Flexor digitorum longus is next to tibialis posterior. Make sense? Okay, good. That's all the muscles of the lower leg. Now, the last muscles of the lower body are these ones here. So, moving all this stuff aside, we have this guy, the external oblique. He's best seen on this side. This is the external oblique. Cutting directly beneath the external oblique, you're going to see 2 sets of muscles. This guy right here is the internal oblique. He has fiber patterns that run transverse to the other ones. So our fiber patterns on this side run this way. The internal oblique fiber patterns run this way. And then, underneath all that, you're going to find a muscle called the transverse abdominis, which has fiber patterns that run this way. And this one doesn't show it, but rectus abdominis has fiber patterns that run this way. Actually, I think it does. There it is. Okay. That's all the muscles of the abdominal wall. Now, it's getting gross. We find the last set of muscles on the lower body, which are the longissimus muscles. Okay? The longissimus muscle right at the center is multifidus spini. This one is multifidus spini. Then right next to it is longissimus medial, longissimus dorsi medial head. Longissimus dorsi intermediate head is right next to that. And longissimus dorsi lateral head is right next to that. It usually has a mohawk of fascia on it, just like this. And then, of course, you have the lumbodorsal aponeurosis below that, above that. So, That is all the muscles of the lower body. Jason, right over there. Longissimus dorsi medial, intermediate head. Okay, so we got through all the lower body. Lower body people, that took like 5 or 10 minutes. That's all the work of the semester just summarized for you. So let's go to the upper body. Back over.
You're gonna have to move it for them.
Oh, right. Thank you. Oh, God. So gross. Okay. Yeah, I need to focus this a bit better. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. Oh, there it goes. There we go. That's as good as it's going to get. So, we're going to go to the ventral chest, where we all started. So, the ventral chest has this guy right here. I like to start down here. This is the Ziffy humoralis. Oop. This guy is the Ziffy humoralis. So, can anyone tell me what the origin and insertion for this guy are? That's great. That's a good thing to know.
The question is there anyone who can't tell me what the origin is?
That's a good one. Okay, the next one up is the pectoralis minor, which is this guy. Now next, you're going to see the pectoralis major. And the pectoralis major can sometimes trick people because it's got 2 heads. So this line right here does not exist. This is all just one straight up pectoralis major. And you're also going to find this muscle on top of it. This is the pecto antebrachialis, which sits on top of the pectoralis major. So if I was to move this aside like this would be the pectoralis major still. Now this thing up here, this is the clavotrapezius from the other side. We usually don't test for the clavotrapezius from this side. I know, doesn't it? So, what's next? Let's go deep on the chest. So, this one looks complicated, doesn't it? Sort of simple. We have one line right here. This is the rectus abdominis from down here. Also, we have this trapezoid right here. This is transverse costarum. Cool, isn't it? Next to transverse costarum, you're going to see 3 muscles, and not all of you are going to have them. They're very tiny and hard to see sometimes. So we're going to go through this as well as we can. This guy in the center, that's easy. That's scalenus longus. Everybody should be able to tell me scalenus longus. It's a strap in the center. So next to the strap in the center, you might also see scalenus anterior. Anterior is the one closest to the midline of the body. And then scalenus posterior is this guy back here, farther from the midline of the body and always very tiny and hard to see. Then we have serratus ventralis, which are these guys. And they end about right here. And right here they become levator scapulae dorsalis. Then underneath the scapula, you'll find subscapularis. Pretty cool, huh? That's all the muscles of the deep chest. Cool, isn't that? Going right along. Let's go to the other side. So, this guy has a pin in him. That's not good. But anyway. So, let's do the trapezius muscles. Now, who can tell me what the trapezius muscles are homologous to? The cucullaris. That's good. So, this one up here, this one is clavotrapezius. This square one right here, that's acromiotrapezius. And you actually come down here. Acromiotrapezius. And then this one at the end that has a pin in it, this one is spinotrapezius. You can usually pick it up and flap it around. Then we have this guy right here, who sometimes trips people up. In your lab in the lab atlas that you guys bought from Saul Witchnitzer, this one isn't marked on your dorsal thing. This is actually levator scapulae ventralis. Good thing to know. Then we have the deltoid muscles.